work. I'm doing paperwork and I know the night shift's fixing to come in. So I'm not gonna really fill it all out because Susie can come behind me and she can do the work. Don't ever assume that. Take responsibility of your work. Be proud of your work. You know, it reflects on who you are. Remember what I stated earlier? If you're a success, Daybreak's going to be a success. And why wouldn't you guys want it that way? Right? Right?
You're giving us
When I go to work, I do my best that I can for my boss. And here lately we have been so busy. And I told her, you know what? You got something to do, give it to me, I'll help you out. I said, because if you're a success, our department's a success, Shannon Business Services is a success. It's a plus for everybody. Why would I not want to do better? You know? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Well, besides all the people that we take care of, that's a group, we are a group also.
That's exactly, you're right. You're right, right. Take ownership of that. Take ownership. Empower each other.
Teamwork.
Teamwork. We're empowering each other. Let's say we work together. I'm going to help you out, and I know you're going to, I hope you help me out anyways. You know, we're going to help each other out. We're going to empower each other. You don't know something, I know it, I'm going to help you. Why wouldn't I want to tell you? Why wouldn't I want you to do it right? I don't want you coming into the office to fix the errors and the mistakes. There's no point in it. If you know, and you guys look like smart people and you sound like smart people. You're thinking. Why wouldn't you want to do it right the first time? Mm-hmm. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I know you can, somebody can determine a mistake, like misspelling or something.
Right.
But how would one that's checking his paperwork know that it's not accurate? I mean, I'm taking care of a home at nights. When I write down what I did with the consumer, how is somebody else going to know what I did or didn't do with that consumer? Because I just wrote down what I did.
Well, I think that comes from the part of being an ethical person on your part, though, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be honest.
I mean, yeah, right. But how does another person determine if that was accurate that I wrote down? The information.
There's a pattern. Each consumer is going to be behaving in certain ways and this and that. And then when you come in and write something different, it's like, whoa.
A big red flag. Big red flag.
You know, he's never done this before and stuff like that.
Okay.
So then there's more, you know, it's being kept an eye on.
Oh, okay.
And if you wrote something that, you know, well, why is he always doing just this with just John? You know, is there a problem there with John and him?
Because there's 4 different people filling out the delivery routes and not one person.
Yeah, because, you know, each consumer has a personality. You learn it with your notes. And then when something comes different, then it brings up a flag, and then we keep an eye on it. And then if we see that he's only doing that with you, then we're going to start questioning what's going on. You know, what are you doing? How are you talking to him?
I think that means busted. I think that's what that means. Is
I've got a guy that likes my tea, and that's the only thing that I think he really likes about me. And he makes sure that Naomi knows that he likes my tea, but nobody else. He's never said anything else about anybody else's tea.
Because I was told when I first started here, be careful because these consumers will take advantage of you because you're new.
Oh, well, don't you have to make sure you do notation then to make sure you're covering what you're doing?
Oh yeah.
Notation. You know what I mean,
and
right?
And as far as to them taking advantage of you, you know, that's where your training comes in. And that's where your special needs come in. So you can know what the person is and what they do, and you know where you're going to draw the line.
Yep. And also, it's a good reference to go back in the SDLs and read.
There you go. You know what that sounds like?
Read your manual.
Do research.
Yes.
Do you work at night? Do you work?
Well, I've worked in several homes, and the first thing I do.
You read up on the consumer.
Well, when they're awake, because I can't do much because we're talking back and forth. But when they go to sleep, I get all those special needs and stuff on each person, and I want to know if I got to fix certain foods or what I've got to do for that individual, because every individual is different.
And a thing you can also do, John, is read what happened that day, read what happened that morning, read what happened this evening, and you might get an idea of how he's going to wake up. If he's been pissed off all day long, there might be a chance he's still going to be pissed off, and there might not.
Yeah. Okay.
So it sounds like you want to look for patterns. You want to look for patterns.
Because I know that they deal differently with different people, with different staff members.
Oh yeah, yeah. You want to look for consistency, patterns, read up before. Don't you guys have to do that?
Because
anyways?
it says, it'll tell you what set them off that day, or,
Yeah.
so you know what not to do.
So you know what's up, John, right?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, all right. Good question, good question. Okay, like we spoke earlier, you know, try to record your information right. So Miss Cruz is not like, hey, guess what? We need a visit. And I'm sure she likes visiting with you guys, but I'm sure she has work to do, and you guys have your work to do. So do it right the first time. Unless you guys really just love talking to her and coming up here.
She likes talking to us. She comes and visits us quite often.
Talks to y'all loud.
Okay, let's look. We talked about this too also, when to prepare. When you're preparing your paperwork, like I stated, you have to provide the service before Daybreak's gonna be reimbursed. But let's say I worked on the home today. Let's say I worked 4 to 12. You know what? I'm tired, I'm cut out, I'm ready to go home. I will just fill all this out when I have to come back to work. No, you don't do that. You don't fill it out a day after, a week after, or at the end of the month when these are due, right? Are these due at the end of the month?
Weekly, no.
Weekly? Ooh, okay. Then you really can't get away with it. So it can't be done a day after or a week after. You work that day, you take care of it that day. And I'm pretty sure that's how everybody does it, right? Preparation shall occur after the service has been provided, as in the reimbursement may be requested. Take several days. So I don't know, first you guys work with them and then they go to sleep and then that's your time to do your paperwork. Is that how it works out?
Well, we'll be doing things that we need to do, like cleaning, preparing their lunch and all that stuff.
Okay. And then you do your paperwork?
Well, you can start your paperwork when you get there and everything, explaining what the person is doing when you have a shift change, and then go from there and do your housework. And then if something happens, well, then you can write it down.
Okay. Overachiever. That's good. Overachiever. Okay. Nobody got it. Nobody laughed. Okay.
I get tired of all my letters.
Okay. Policy dictates, you guys, and this is something I am going to read word for word. Form 4119, which is also referred to as the service delivery log, or another form created for a similarly intended purpose, is considered a Medicaid document used for Medicaid purposes. As such, by using this form, you understand it is your responsibility to record accurate information, as this may be subject to a court of law. Failure to record accurate information and or deliberate falsification of documentation is strictly prohibited. I did not come up with that sentence. The Department of Aging and Disability Services did. That's just reinforcing policy. That's all, mainly that's what we've been talking about is policy, their policy. That's just reinforcing, do the paperwork right. Okay, that's how they want, that's how they expect it, and I'm sure that's how Daybreak expects it. As I stated, this means 411, the service alert needs to be accurate, correct, and current for processing. Not only for your organization, but also for DADs and for those lovely state auditors. I don't know, do the state auditors get to read the narratives?
Mm-hmm.
You do. Oh, so your paperwork's being read.
Is 4119, is it a standardized form for all HCs?
It is. Go up, you know what? I've included the DAD's website. Go into DAD's, type in service delivery log, type in 411, form 4119, standards straight across the board. I think you have to go like in doing business with DAD's. Procedures on preparing. So we went from policy to now procedures. Now they're going to tell us more or less, and I took this a little bit out because they have a lot. And some of them don't even pertain. So this is just going to tell us kind of like the step-by-step. Procedures. Obviously we know 1 SDL per consumer, right? Unless something's changed. Consumer name, we need to designate if it's RSS or SL. We need the consumer number. Work services provider, day, month, year. Designate, oh, I already said that. Note down activities that were done by consumer. Staff initials where required. Correct dates, employee signatures. Believe it or not, penmanship, they have that on the websites. I didn't make that up. Penmanship.
What was that last, what'd you say?
Penmanship.
Penmanship, what does that mean?
Penmanship.
Your
Handwriting.
handwriting has to be good. And that's a problem
I
that we have a
guarantee
lot.
you
For me especially.
that they could not read.
Penmanship, okay.
Penmanship, handwriting.
Penmanship.
Handwriting.
Anybody in particular, I'm just throwing that out there.
If,
I'm just throwing that out there.
I'm
If
real
you
bad
can't-
about it.
if you can't read it and you wrote it, what makes you think we can read it? Or they can read it, or the